NIO stock absolutely blasting off, up even more pre-market today on Monday. And in this video, I will share with you what the president said about the ES8 productions. And also, I will outline the two bullish scenarios for an end of the year price target of $15 per share for the first price target and optimistic price target of $30 per share, and how they can be achieved. And let me tell you, the analysts are wrong, all right? They don't know what's going on here in China. They're sitting in their desks somewhere in North America or in Europe. They don't know what's going on here in China. So let's first start off with what the president said. NIO's president recently came to Beijing to give a face-to-face meeting with a lot of NIO owners, and he was asked about profitability, and he said, well, he can't tell you that they're going to be profitable in Q4. He said they're very optimistic, and he said that we'll know by the end of Q4, right? Because they're a publicly traded company, they can't release any information like that. But when he was asked about the production and pace of production of the ES8, he said, do not worry about the pace of production for the ES8. They have already started wrapping up production for the ES8, and they are looking at the order numbers and the order volume coming in, and they are adjusting everything accordingly. They will be fully ready to capitalize on the robust orders and the strong orders. So he said that himself. So that's very, very optimistic and very, very nice. So let's talk about the two price targets, $15 per share and $30 per share. And these are, of course, very bullish. And that represents 15x is almost like 3x pretty much from where we are right now, 2.5x. And then 30 would be like 5x basically from where we are right now. And by the end of the year, that's crazy, right? If you think about it. But it's not that crazy if you think back in 2020, 2021, when they had that historic rise in share price. So let's outline what the analysts are wrong about and why these price targets are achievable. First of all, let me make it very clear that I think NIO will become profitable in Q4 of this year, despite missing delivery targets. You heard that right. I think NIO will miss their delivery target of 440,000 vehicles this year. That means they have to deliver around 50,000 vehicles per month, and that, realistically speaking, is very hard to achieve, okay? But that's not going to matter. And this is what I want you guys to really understand, and that is the fact that deliveries are important, but that's not the thing that will determine profitability. Because if you look at 2023 and 2024, they delivered more vehicles in 2024, way more vehicles, but they lost even more money. Why? It's because of expenses. So at the end of the day, if you're delivering more cars but your expenses are going up, it doesn't matter. All right? It's all about the expenses. And so with that in mind, what are they doing with expenses here in China? They're cutting expenses like crazy, all right? Everywhere. We know for a fact that service centers are already profitable. They've said that a long time ago. And the stores, any unprofitable stores closed down, reducing personnel, not just in the sales front, but also in the headquarters. They're cutting down expenses wherever possible, reducing freebies. Basically, there are no freebies anymore, all right? And finding new ways to earn money, not just for NIO, but also for Envo. Envo stores, if the rent is too high, close the store right away. So I think NIO will be profitable despite missing delivery targets. And here's what the analysts are wrong about, all right? So Deutsche Bank estimates that there are going to be 3,000 deliveries for the ES8 per month. Seriously? 3,000? No. If you see what's happening, everybody's choosing the ES8, all right? The structure of the cars right now is basically, if your budget is 400K, around 400K RMB, you get the ES8. If your budget is 300K, which is what NIO's average price used to be, you get the ES8 with battery rental. You're renting the battery, right? And then if your budget is below that, around 200K RMB, you get the Envoy L90 battery rental. That's the current situation of things, all right? ES8 buyers, ES6 buyers are going for the ES8. EC6 buyers are going for the ES8, right? ET5 buyers, unless they really like the design of the car and they don't really like the size of the ES8, but apart from that, they're also going for the ES8. Everybody's going for the ES8, all right, because it has everything, and the price is such a blockbuster price. So 3,000 per month, boy, look, they got more orders than the Envoy L90. The ES8, more orders than Envoy L90, according to the president. And look, the Envoy L90, they're delivering about 2,000 of those per week. So we can look at potentially 3,000 ES8s per week, man. Not per month, per week possibly. To push deliveries of the ES8 to maybe 10,000 per month of the ES8, just the ES8, guys. That is the car to get, all right? I'll be very clear. I'll be very honest. On my channel, I'm very honest with you guys. If you're a NIO owner and you know the product lineup, you got to be an idiot to still go for the ES6 and not the ES8, yeah? Because the price point, right, it's so similar, right? ES6 is even more expensive if you spec it all the way up. So you got to put a gun to my head for me to force me to choose the ES6 instead of the ES8, right? So that's the current situation of things. Everybody's going for the ES8. So with that in mind, the ES8 still has fantastic margins. That great numbers for the ES8, that's going to help us along with the Envoy L90 and along with the Envoy L80 later on this year. That's going to be able to help us achieve profitability, more so because of expenses cut in Q4. All right, so that's the path to profitability in Q4. And that would warrant $15 a share. Okay, if you're profitable, you're probably going to look at much more than $15 per share. And if by some miracle, right, if by some miracle we actually meet the delivery target of 440,000 vehicles in 2025, and they're delivering like 50,000 vehicles per month, like, which I'm honestly thinking that's not achievable, then we might look at $30 per share by the end of this year, okay? And then long term, okay, we always have to look at the long-term picture. Remember, NIO's got a fantastic moat, battery swap. They have fantastic tech because of the money they spend on R&D, which has incurred those losses. They've been able to develop the car much better at a cheaper price compared to the competitor, and that's something that you just can't compete with. So long term, right? Very soon we're gonna get partner cars that can also do battery swap on the road. Very soon, okay? And if NIO is able to get a chip licensing partner, that's going to change the narrative, and that's going to just explode the stock to the moon, okay? A chip licensing partner, wow, that's amazing. Because NIO is producing those NX9031 chips that, you know, it's one of the industry's first self-developed chip to go on the car, non-NVIDIA, basically. So there's a lot of potential there for that, licensing that, and also licensing their software. We know for a fact that McLaren is going to be using some of their tech. So, interesting. Could that be something? But of course, this pathway, it's not a narrative that a lot of investors are thinking about. But I'm telling you that there's great potential there. The CEO is actively seeking these kind of automobile partners that can leverage NIO's chips and become a chip partner, so to speak. And if that happens, then everybody's going to get a big wake-up call, like, holy crap, NIO's chips, NIO's software, licensing, that's going to bring in a ton of money for them. Yeah, and that is going to just shoot the stock up even more, all right? Yeah. That's the long-term price target, 650. guys. Long term. All right. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.